Singapore has changed me.
We're here!
But before I moved to Singapore, I knew exactly who I was. Growing up in the West, I knew what freedom and individualism meant. But after arriving on this Southeast Asian red dot, a new language began rising up before me: order, obedience, and authority. I was certain Singapore could never change me. They say that travel broadens the mind, but I wasn't sure moving to Singapore really counted as travel. After all, Singapore feels like most Western cities, except it's newer, cleaner, tropical. And it's English speaking. There is always ease when a city speaks the same language as yourself. It can make it feel like everyone is the same. I remember my first traditional breakfast in a local cafe in Balestier.
Sugar?
Kaya coconut jam toast with almost raw, very runny, soft-boiled eggs. I admit I didn't find the eggs appealing, but after one bite I thought, how could something so wrong taste so right?
Wow.
It's good, right?
Delicious. Delicious.
And we went back there over and over and over again. Singapore felt so right in many ways. Shopping and coffee shops reminded me of London and New York City. One sip can carry you back to Paris or Italy, and I loved being pulled back to the flavours of Asia in the hawker centres and kopitiams, a unique blend of East and West. This was the dream. But for me, the most surreal experience was walking alone safely at night, simply because I wanted to. My Western values and Asian roots seemed to live in harmony here, until I realized that we weren't always speaking the same language after all. Because it became clear that Singapore is a different world from the West, with far different rules and ways of doing things than I was used to. And I began to observe things that felt unfamiliar through my Western lens. And like the high Singapore humidity, it sometimes felt difficult to breathe. The differences between East and West were profound, like authority, because in Singapore the hierarchy is clear. I learned through friends that managers might expect you to work late and into weekends, as though your time was owned by someone else. It made me think what it might be like to grow up in Singapore too, with high academic stress and a tuition culture from a tender age, when your future can feel as fragile as your self-esteem. Social interactions were careful too. Topics like religion, race or politics were often avoided. Global issues often felt distant. Conflict in the cause of humanitarian crisis was rarely discussed openly. And with public protest tightly regulated, it seemed that not only was little being said, but even less was being felt.
Oh no, it's scrambled.
As a foreigner, I sometimes found myself turning inward, conscious of my words and of being misunderstood.
I don't know what I've done wrong, so what I'll do is make another attempt at Kaya.
After the initial honeymoon period, I began to feel the constraints in living here as a foreigner, and I wondered how much of Singapore is about surviving rather than truly living. But I still wanted to make life in Singapore work, because integration must be intentional. I spent time in places that felt local, like the heartlands, Punggol, Pasir Ris and Balestier. I ate where the locals ate and tried to walk in their shoes, just as my own Bangladeshi parents did in the UK.
This is one of my favorites. It's so good. But today I'm gonna get one of these. One thing I will say is, if you do come to Singapore, just try everything local, because that's all the yummy stuff.
I met locals and learnt that all mothers share the same love language, giving the gift of food.
We're about to try Faizi's mum's semolina pudding. Wow, I like this a lot.
It tastes
really familiar. Something like our mums make. Thank you so much, Auntie. This is so delicious.
Delicious.
And slowly, something shifted. Moments of stillness began to appear between the familiar and unfamiliar. In those brief seconds, a true traveller makes the subconscious choice to either retreat into comfort or try to understand what we don't. Because isn't that what we all want? To be seen and to be understood. And what I saw in Singapore, order, obedience and authority, challenged my own ideas of what freedom is. Being a third culture kid has been a gift that has taught me to see nuance. As the eldest daughter of British Bangladeshi immigrant parents, I have grown up living in two worlds, with the expectation of being perfectly independent in one and perfectly dutiful in the other. I am Asian, and I am also westernized. If we're lucky enough to live in a new place for a while, we're given a chance to truly understand that what feels wrong to one person may feel right to another. What some call obedience to authority, others see as trust that has been earned for maintaining peace. What looks like strict laws and harsh punishments, others see as necessary trade-offs for social harmony. In the West, unconditional freedom of speech is closely tied to individualism and putting yourself before society. But in Singapore and many other countries across Asia, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of responsibilities. You are always connected to wider society through collectivism. I believe we all have a human right to peacefully protest. I have studied and seen how it has changed the world in significant ways. I don't think protesting is rebellion. Rather, it is a collective human cry to help others. I feel compelled to act because I've needed that help in my life myself. While I hold my own views, I can understand why public protests sit differently in places like Singapore. There is a history of deadly riots and brutal colonialism behind the shiny infrastructure, and rarely spoken about. After reading about this history, I have empathy for those who fear instability and the past repeating itself, and I'd love to hear from Singaporeans how they feel about this today. At the same time, I believe protest comes in many forms, not just on the streets. It can exist more quietly, even in silence, by choosing what to buy and where to eat, aligning our values with our spending. I also see the common sense behind Singapore's approach to choosing words carefully. After all, I have experienced racism as a child in the UK. I know that certain words can hurt, and for a long time. Neither the East nor West offer a perfect system, but what I know is that we all want to live peacefully together in this imperfect world, as individuals and also in the warm embrace of community.
I'm happy to report that this homemade kaya jam went well in the end, the second attempt. Sorry, this is not the best, piece of toast. They were way better in Singapore, but I'm having it with peanut butter and the kaya jam. I've already tried it, so I won't lie and say that, this is my first bite of it. But I really, really enjoyed it. It's a very good recipe. I didn't use the palm sugar, so I think it doesn't taste quite like the kaya jam back in Singapore. So it's not completely authentic, but I did follow most of the recipe. So I will enjoy the rest of this in a bit. While I was living in Singapore, I found myself thinking about my parents quite a lot. I wasn't homesick or anything like that, but they were on my mind quite a bit, especially their own immigration journey from rural Bangladeshi villages to bustling, racially tense London back in the 1970s and 80s. My parents grew up in strong, tight-knit, conservative, collectivist communities, which sounds a lot like Singapore. So I always think how overwhelming the culture shock must have been for them when they landed in London. It's made me realise how resilient they are, even though a lot of the time they're quite quiet and reserved, and their love is silent in words, but it's full of food on the dinner table. So in that sense, they're very Asian. I adore my parents for embracing Britishness. They're very proud of that themselves. And I'm proud of them for not letting go of their flavours, their food, their colours, their clothes, their language. Moving to Singapore really helped me walk in their shoes. Even though their experience was very hard and painful at times, whereas mine was really easy compared to theirs. I've been very lucky in so many ways. Mine was more of an awakening. I got a glimpse into mum and dad's life before they had me and my siblings, and I think that they're incredibly courageous for balancing two worlds, the East and the West. Moving abroad helped me recognize their lived human experiences as people and not just as my mum and dad. So for me, my time in Singapore wasn't just about resting and having a career break, which I've talked about in a previous video, nor was it just about me and my husband realizing that we wanted to buy a house, our first home in London. And it really gave me an opportunity to get to know my parents better in a way that I hadn't known them before. And by connecting with them this way, I feel like I've understood more where I come from. I'll always be grateful for my time in Asia and Singapore because of that the most.
I've heard some expats call Singapore a soft Asia or an entry point into Asia, terms I personally find loaded, as if there's something wrong with being fully Asian. As if there is no real culture in Singapore, no pride in heritage and roots, no history of people who migrated here from different lands, worked to exhaustion. Reminiscent of so many immigrants around the world, even within Singapore today. I see a rich culture that's also still developing, and with my South Asian background, my soul felt right at home in the aromatic air of the hawker centres. There is something healing in how the dishes are loved exactly as they are.
Woohoo, it's banh mi time. Yep.
In the UK, I saw my traditional Bangladeshi food become completely changed and made more palatable for British tastes. But in Singapore, roti prata isn't just Indian, char kway teow isn't just Chinese, nasi lemak isn't just Malay. It belongs to everyone, unchanged, unaltered, and unapologetically Singaporean.